Welcome to Satish Science Teacher YouTube channel. அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். Today we are going to see the book back evaluations from Standard 7, Term 1, Science Book, Unit 3, Matter Around Us. If you are first time watching this YouTube channel or if you're tuning first time in this YouTube channel, please do subscribe and do share and don't forget to press the bell icon which is next to the subscription button, and please do some comments that helps me to grow. Okay, okay, let's see the matter around us. So what is matter? Matter is nothing but a compound or mixture or element, whatever it may be. That is the matter. Whatever the thing is surrounds us, it is known as matter. So we know that everything that occupies the space has a mass called matter. So the matter cannot seen with naked eye. The particle that is called atom is the basic unit of any matter. So this is the structure of an atom. That is a schematic structure of atom. See the inside this atom, protons and see the inside, this is the protons and neutrons. That means combination of protons and neutrons is then that occupies the central position of the atom. That is a reason for the atomic mass. Whereas the orbiting that surrounds an nucleus is the orbits. This orbits is the pathway of the electron rotation. So this is the electron representation of electron. So electrons are revolved around the nucleus of the atom. Okay, so electrons are negatively charged ones, whereas the protons and neutrons are non-negatively charged, because the proton is a positive and neutron is a neutral charge. Okay, so that's all about the structure of an atom. And molecules, when an atom combines with another atom, that becomes to compound or molecule. Okay, so there are various number of atoms are there. See the one more point. There are 118, that is 118 known elements till date. Out of these, 94 elements are occurring naturally, while 24 elements are synthesized artificially in the laboratory. That means 94 elements only naturally occurring element. But some of the scientists develop in the laboratory, there comes under the artificial elements. That the total number of artificial or synthesized elements are 24. Okay. So what are the classification of elements? The elements are broadly classified into metals, non-metals, and metalloids. Metals means they have a strong nature, and they have the ductileable, malleable characters and also sonorous characters. So metals ஓட characters என்னன்னா ductileable, malleable என்னன்னா அந்த ஒரு மெட்டல் எடுத்து நம்ம தட்டி தட்டி தகடா அடிக்கலாம், இல்லை கம்பியை எடுக்கலாம். இப்போ காப்பர்லாம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா கம்பியை எடுத்து ஒயரில் யூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க எலக்ட்ரிசிட்டிக்கு. அப்புறம் தங்கமும் ஒரு மெட்டல் தான். அதை என்ன பண்ணணும், நம்ம வேறு வேறு ஷேப்பில் அதை நம்ம வந்து ஜுவல்ஸ் பண்ணி போட்டுக்கிறோம். அப்புறம் இரும்பெல்லாம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அது தட்டும் போது ஒரு சவுண்ட் வரும். இப்போ கோயிலில் பெல் அடிக்கிறாங்க, இது ஸ்கூலில் பெல் அடிக்கிறாங்க, சர்ச்சஸில் பெல் அடிக்கிறாங்க. இங்கெல்லாம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அந்த மெட்டல்ஸில் ஹிட் பண்ணும்போது ஒரு சவுண்ட், தட் இஸ் சொனோரஸ் சவுண்ட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். அந்த கேரக்டர் பேர் வந்து சொனோரஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். ஸோ சொனோரஸ் இஸ் த யூனிக் ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி ஆஃப் மெட்டல்ஸ். ஸோ these elements are known as metals. So metals are the elements are broadly classified according to the property of ductility, malleability, and sonority. So metals, non-metals, and metalloids. Non-metals are the opposite, just opposite to the metals, because they do not have sonorous property. They do not have any malleability property. Whereas metalloids are the elements that can be put in between the metals and non-metals category, because they possesses both the metals and non-metal characters to some extent. So that's the reason why they are known as metalloids. Okay, so lot of things. So what is the differences between the element and compound? The element is the simplest substance. A compound is the chemical substance. It's a combination of one or more elements. Elements combines to form compounds. Compounds can be split into elements. So the elements can combine with each other, then they'll give the form compounds. But the compounds can be split into the basic elements. It is a vice versa of the elemental characters. And atoms are the fundamental particles of an element, whereas the molecules are the fundamental particles of a compound. So you should remember all those things. Okay. And here they are giving the chemical symbol. It is the shortest representation of an element. If say example, if it is a sodium, the element symbol is Na, because the Na stands for natrium. Natrium is a word which is derived from Greek term. So in the Greek language, sodium is known as natrium. So they are giving Na. And the chemical formula tells the number of atoms of an element in a compound. Okay, let's see the book back evaluations. Which one of the following is an example for metal? I already told metals have the ductile ability, malleability, and sonorous characters. So all these categories are fulfilled by the iron only, not oxygen, helium, and water. Okay. So option A is the correct answer. Oxygen, hydrogen, and sulfur are examples for non-metals because oxygen, hydrogen, sulfur, all these are can be exists in the even in the gaseous stage. So it is a non-metal. And which of the following is a short and scientific way of representing one molecule of an element or compound? It is a chemical symbol. The metal which is liquid at room temperature is mercury because all over the earth there are 108 elements are known elements. Among the elements, the mercury is the only metal that exists as a liquid stage in the room temperature, that is mercury, as you know that. An element which is always lustrous, malleable, and ductile is metal. I already told the definition for metal is they can be lustrous and malleable and ductile. That is, lustrous means when you touch the metals they shows the soft and silky nature, that means slippery nature also. Okay, that is the lustrous character. And next is the fill in the blank section. The smallest particle of matter that can be exist by itself is atom. A compound containing one atom of carbon and two atoms of oxygen is CO2, that is carbon dioxide. Graphite is the only non-metal which conducts electricity. All the metals can conduct the electricity, but not the non-metals. But except only the graphite that is comes under the non-metal can conduct electricity. Elements are made up of same kind of atoms. So if you take the gold chain or gold bracelet, it is made up of gold that can be made up of same kind of atom, that is gold atoms. And the symbol of some elements are derived from Latin or Greek names of the element. I already told the sodium words, the spelling of the sodium word is sodium, but the chemical symbol that is given to the sodium is not S, that is Na, because the natrium stands for Na. That Na is derived from the Greek word. So that is one of the example for the this one, that is symbol of some element or derived from Latin or Greek names of the elements. There are 118 number of known elements. Elements are the simplest form of pure substances. The first letter of an element is always written in capital letter. The first letter of an element is always written in capital letter. Molecule containing more than three atoms are known as polyatomic molecules. See, if the molecule containing only one atom, that it is known as monatomic. If the molecule contains two atoms, it is diatomic. Whereas the molecule contains three atoms, it is known as triatomic. And if contains four, it is known as tetraatomic. If contains five molecules, five atoms, then it is pentaatomic. Like that, if containing more than, generally they are containing more than, if the molecule is containing more than three atoms, they are generally classified and grouped under the polyatomic molecule. So you should then write the answer as polyatomic molecule because they never asking if it is a four or five. Or they do not like that one. Okay, so this is the answer. And sixth, tenth one is nitrogen. Nitrogen is the most abundant gas in the atmosphere, as you know that. Okay, where the oxygen is the second predominant gas in the atmosphere. And the next one is analogy section. Mercury, that is liquid at room temperature. I already told the mercury is the only element that exists as a liquid form in the room temperature. And the for next one is oxygen. Oxygen is a gas which at room temperature. Non-metal conducting electricity is graphite, whereas the metal conducting electricity is copper. Elements combine to form compounds, whereas the compounds can split into elements, as we already see in the book itself. And atoms is a fundamental particle of an element, whereas the elements are the fundamental particles of a compound. Next one is say true or false section. If false gives the correct statement. Two different elements may have similar atoms. False, because two different elements have never have the similar atoms. If it is a gold, it contains only the gold atoms. If it is a silver, it contains only silver atoms. Then how could be they are equally similar atoms? It is a false statement. Compounds and elements are pure substances. It is a true statement. Atoms cannot exist alone. They can only exist as grouped called molecules. It is also false statement, student, because the inert gases like helium, argon, neon, they can exist only a single atom. But here they are asking atoms cannot exist alone. No, atoms can exist alone. So it is a false statement. Sodium chloride represents one molecule of sodium chloride. That is true. Argon is monatomic gas. It is a true. See, I already told argon, neon, helium are the inert gases because they cannot react with each other because of their valence shell has full fill of electrons. So the organ can exist as a mono condition. So compounds and elements are pure. Sorry, the atoms cannot exist alone, but here the organ atom can exist alone. So the statement here is false. Here the organ is monatomic as is a true statement. And to answer the brief, that is write the chemical formula of the following compounds. Sodium chloride, NaCl. Na stands for sodium, Cl stands for chlorine. Potassium hydroxide, KOH. K stands for potassium, OH stands for hydroxide. So O stands for oxygen, H stands for hydrogen. Carbon dioxide, CO2. C stands for carbon, O stands for oxygen. Calcium oxide, Ca stands for calcium, O stands for oxygen. Sulfur dioxide, S stands for sulfur, O stands for oxygen. Okay, that is okay. What else you need? And one more interesting question. Write the symbols for the following elements and classify them as solid, gas, and liquids. They're asking. So aluminium. What is the chemical elements symbols for the elements? Aluminium's symbol is Al. So aluminum is a solid. Carbons, the symbol for a carbon element is C. And chloride, the symbol is Cl. Chlorine. Mercury stands for Hg, high gram. So it is Hg is a symbol for the element symbol. Hydrogen, the symbol for hydrogen element is H. The symbol for helium element atom is He. Okay. Chlorine is a gas, carbon is a gas, mercury is a liquid, hydrogen is a gas, lithium is a gas. So that's all. The next one is classify the following as metals, non-metals, and metalloids. Here, the metals, the first one is metals. So sodium, bismuth, silver, and iron and copper are comes under the metals. Whereas the non-metals, nitrogen, carbon, and chlorine. What that one is metalloids. Silicon is the only metalloid in this group. Okay, and write the chemical formula for the following elements. So what are the chemical formula for the following elements? Hydrogen. Hydrogen's it is a H. Nitrogen N. Ozone. Ozone is O stands for oxygen. O2 stands for oxygen molecule. Whereas ozone is nothing but the combination of three oxygen atoms that is found in the troposphere atmosphere that prevents the entry of the ultraviolet harmful rays from the sunlight. So this is the ozone O3. Sulfur means S. So that's all about, I think that's all about the book back on mark evaluations. So okay students, I conclude this video from here itself. So thanks for listening. If you're tuning first time in this YouTube channel, please do subscribe and do share with your friends, and don't forget to press the bell icon which is next to subscribe button. Then only you will get all the videos as soon as released from us. And please do share with your friends, and thanks for listening. Thank you.